Jamar Chase or Tee Higgins? Who are we going to have more stock of?
Come on.
Okay. The question is not who will score more points, but based on their ADP, which player are you going to have more stock of? We got to answer the question. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments below who you're going to have more stock of? But let's look at their ADP on a couple websites that we use. ADP on Fantasy Pros right now, Jamar Chase, wide receiver 3, Tee Higgins, wide receiver 12. If you go to Underdog, Jamar Chase still the third wide receiver, but Tee Higgins is now the wide receiver 10. I think that makes sense. Underdog, best ball formats.
Yeah.
And then if you look at our last 3 mock drafts, Jamar Chase is averaging wide receiver 3, and Tee Higgins also the wide receiver 10. If you look at their stats from 2021, Jamar Chase had an incredible year, broke records, 13 touchdowns, wide receiver 5 finish. Tee Higgins, he did miss 3 games, so you do need to keep that in mind.
Yep.
But over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, wide receiver 24 finish. So Badake, who do you have? Who are you going to take more stock of this year? Who are you going to draft more, have more equity of, if you will?
Yeah. No more bets. Give me Jamar Chase. Look, I'm taking the upside, and I know you're saying ADP, the more ideal, realistic, where if you're always getting a top 6 pick, getting Jamar Chase in redraft, congratulations. Tee Higgins is always going to fall to you at the right time, but I'm always taking the upside with Chase. Okay, I don't believe there's a wrong answer here. It's whoever you can get, right? So this is how I see it. I'm going Jamar Chase is upside, and Tee Higgins is upside. He just has that extra oomph, right? So if we really break it down, first half of the season,
you just said upside for both. So
yeah, so
both.
I'm saying they both have upside, but Jamar Chase.
Oh, but
Jamar Chase has upside. Let's be honest, both of these guys are gonna be fantastic.
Upside times 2.
Yeah, upside times 2, where Tee Higgins only has 1, right? But they're both gonna be great.
Right.
All
right.
First half of the season, Jamar Chase, weeks 1 to 9, wide receiver 3. Tee Higgins did miss 2 games in that weeks 1 to 9 span. Was wide receiver 40. Jamar Chase on the second half of the season, weeks 11 to 18, wide receiver 7. Tee Higgins, wide receiver 10. So these guys are very close with each other, and we saw that second half drop off with Jamar Chase, but we also had that 55-plus game that probably won you so many weeks or so many playoffs in the championship this past year. Whenever you draft somebody in the first round, someone like a Jamar Chase, he is going to be – they should or they most likely are a league winner. These guys are untouchables. These are the guys that are going to bring you – and you hope that they're going to bring you the highest upside possible every single week, okay?
Right.
Once again, I'm not punting T. It's just I'm going with upside times 2. I want the best upside possible. So I'm always going to take him over T, in my opinion. But if he does fall, fantastic. Or if T does get to me somehow, that's great. One thing I wanted to say that I think we both made the mistake on last year, and we were both on the same page here, was people are believing in the regression of Jamar Chase, And we said the same thing with... because I think it's inevitable, that it's just kind of facts. Like when you put a super high ceiling on something, the chance of it going down is really high. And we kind of made we kind of made the mistake. And not saying you shouldn't have punt Justin Jefferson, but we don't believe he's going to finish as a top 3 wide receiver. We thought he will finish more as a top 5, 6, 7, where this past year, in 2020, 2 years ago, his rookie year, he finished wide receiver 6. And then this past year, he finished wide receiver 4. Not a massive jump. But, I believe, Jamar Chase can do the same thing, but maybe he's finishing wide receiver 4 or wide receiver 3, or whatever the case may be, however it goes. I don't think he's going to have a massive flux in finishes this year.
If you're choosing Chase, I hope that you think he can be the wide receiver 1.
Oh, 100%. I'm not saying he won't be. But I guess in a realistic standpoint, you hope that the fluctuation is not massive. You hope that you didn't draft him as your wide receiver 1 in, a top 6, 7 pick, and he's finishing as a 15, 16, 17. That would be really disappointing. So all I'm saying is I'm looking at players, especially in the first round, and believing in the massive upside with Jamar Chase, but I still believe in the upside with Tee Higgins. There's no wrong answer.
Fair.
But Jamar Chase, he is the guy.
All right. So I definitely get where you're coming from. I would say as well, there is no wrong answer. I want both of these guys, but I am going to take Tee Higgins here. And I would love anyone watching, if I've convinced you otherwise, if you were Chase and I've convinced you to go towards the Higgins, let me know in the comments below, because I think my whole point of the next 5-10 minutes, however long I'm going to take to explain my take, is to maybe help you realize that I don't think that they're all that far from each other. So let's talk about this, okay? Let's review their 2021 season, okay? Both had a really good season. Tee Higgins, keep in mind, guys, he did miss 3 games. I wonder where Tee Higgins would have been statistically if he had those 3 games back. But let's look at this. I'm going to show you quite a few numbers here. Did Jamar have more opportunities than Tee Higgins last year? Did Jamar have more opportunities than Tee Higgins? Well, if you look at their target total, yes, Jamar had more targets. But if you look at a more accurate representation of that on a per game basis, Higgins had more targets per game than Chase, okay? How about consistency? Was Jamar more consistent than Tee Higgins? Well, let's look at a couple of stats here. Games with 13 plus points. Chase, 12. Higgins, 9. Again, keeping in mind that Tee Higgins is at a disadvantage in all these categories because he played 3 less games, okay? Chase had 12 games over 13. Higgins had 9. Let's look at boom bust. So did Higgins bust more than Chase? Well, both players had 4 games under 10 points. How about a higher ceiling? I think it's safe to say, yes, Jamar had a higher ceiling. If you look at games over 25 points, Chase had 4, Higgins had 2. Keep in mind, though, again, Higgins had 3 less opportunities to have these boom games. But I do agree, Jamar does present a higher ceiling. How about red zone looks? Okay, and this isn't even on a per game basis, but if you look at the entire year, red zone targets via player profiler, Chase had 12 of those, Higgins had 13, and he missed, again, 3 more games than Chase. How about unrealized fantasy points? Who had more unrealized fantasy points? If you look at expected fantasy points via player profiler, Chase was expected to get the 12th most, Higgins was the 7th most. So that's a double-sided coin, right? Chase did more with less than what he was expected to. But Higgins, there was a lot more available opportunities. So again, my goal here is not to tell you that Jamar Chase will score less than Tee Higgins, because I do believe that Jamar Chase is going to score more points than Tee Higgins. They are different players. They have different play styles, okay? Chase is incredible after the catch. Higgins is an incredible one-on-one ball winner. He's a great route runner as well. I think he's a better route runner than Jamar Chase. So they complement each other really well. But what I'm trying to get at here is I don't think there's actually as big of a gap between these 2 players as what people are leading on to believe. Yes, Chase is going to be more valuable. But I personally, like, why can't I start a running back in the first round and then grab Tee Higgins in the 3rd? If you look at where these players are going, obviously Jamar Chase, he has to be your first player. Tee Higgins, most of the time right now, can be the 3rd player that you're drafting on your team. And the last thing I'll say is you have an entire year of film on Jamar Chase right now, and he won in some very specific ways. Some you can game plan around, others you cannot. But is it safe to say he's like a top 5 to 10 weapon in the NFL right now? It's pretty safe to say that, right? So wouldn't every single defense be game planning around him? What does that open up for Tee Higgins? I think on a weekly basis, you're going to see similar outputs for these guys, but there will be more boom games for Chase. So again, I want both of these guys. I want as much stock as I can in these players. But I think when you look at purely the opportunities T was getting, the opportunities in the red zone, the amount of points he was putting up when he was healthy, his expected points, I think Tee Higgins is much closer to Jamar Chase than a lot of people are believing. And I'll be happy to have him as my 3rd player if I don't get Jamar Chase in the first round. Yeah. If I can grab, let's say, Justin Jefferson in the first round, or Cooper Kupp, or I go CMC or Austin Eckler or something, I feel really confident that, I can grab Tee Higgins as my 3rd player. and still have someone connected to an incredible offense who, by the way, this offense is going to throw more this year. They just are. There's a next step that they're going to take. So if you're looking at Tee Higgins' numbers last year, again, missed 3 games, but you're going to see more targets for both of these players. And I think both of these players can finish top 12 this season. Obviously, they're being drafted as if they will. So I'll take Tee Higgins. I'm always a fan of trying to find a value in these conversations.
Yeah.
And you guys still have to take him in the 3rd round, but I just don't think they're as far off from each other as other people believe that they are.
I think as the community is continuing to, like, for example, if you are convinced to take T, I think that can be a massive fluctuation in his ADP. I think, like, we see it now.
You could say that about any player.
Now with,
you could see Jamar Chase being a top 4 pick.
No,
you could say that about any player.
You can see that now. And, like, when does it get to a point when it really isn't a value? Wide receiver 10 currently right now, an underdog. What if he goes to 8, 7? That means he's going.
Who's being pushed down?
Yeah, that means he's going into the middle.
I don't think I'm calling it a value.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think, like, as the time comes and the season gets closer and closer, and
Sure.
I think this is why I always see with a lot of conversations that we have, which we see, we see the market and the draft season, their ADP fluctuate. I think Tee Higgins is another guy, because sometimes we see Tee Higgins go super early in the second. It's like, damn, they took Tee Higgins right there. Like, sheesh, maybe sometimes it's a reach, but, like, if we're believing in the
I didn't
upside,
see him go. I didn't see him go earlier than the 3rd in our last 3 mocks.
Yeah,
but
I agree with that.
That was a wide receiver 10 finish.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As well.
So that is equal with the consensus. So at this point, I haven't seen him in the 2nd round yet. I don't think that that's going to change. There are so many other players that people are propelling up their boards, and I haven't heard that hype around T, but I could be wrong. Yeah. You've heard a lot of hype around Saquon. He's starting to jump higher. We've heard a lot of hype around Mike Evans, and guys like Debo. Debo is probably now going to jump Tee Higgins in most people's ADP. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but also I don't. When I say value, if I use that word, I don't know if I did, but I don't think either of these guys are values. Like, you're drafting them with the expectation that they're going to be a pillar of your team.
I guess if you put them next to each other, Tee Higgins is the value. But yes, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
sure.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting 2 incredible wide receivers here. One you can just get a couple rounds later.
Yeah,
so
agreed. So both good guys. Good guys. Good.
Yeah, both are good players that we want on our team. I just, again, I think I stuck to when I was trying to answer this, I tried to stick to the true question of who am I going to have more stock of. And it's not that I don't want to draft Jamar in the 1st round. It's just
it's hard
that I think I'm going to do a lot of double hero RB starts.
Yeah.
Which means that T could be my first wide receiver on a lot of my squads.
Yeah, makes sense. So I like it.
Yeah. Comment down below. Let us know what you think, who you are taking. I don't think there's a wrong answer. Again, both of these guys are going to be fantastic. Well, the last thing I'll say is I think Jamar Chase can be the wide receiver 1 on the year. I do think that's possible. I don't think that's possible for Tee Higgins. So you are getting the difference there. I think Tee Higgins' upside is a top 7 finish.
Yeah, I think both of these guys definitely finished in the top 10. I guess, once again, upside times 2 with Chase, and then upside with T. You're getting upside. Just how much upside are you actually getting? So no wrong answer.
All right, comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.